This is 99% craps.
Hard 10, hard 10. Here's the number.
I'll take the full odds on the 10, 200 on the hard way. The limit on all the numbers, 250 on the 11. Thank you very much.
Say, you played this game before.
Just once.
Welcome to the Red Eye Gamblers podcast. High above the second largest city, west of the Mississippi. Two chronic craps players, talking craps, playing craps, thinking craps. This is 99% craps.
Coming up on our 6th episode of 99% Craps, we continue talking about our I-10 gambling trip, scouting and reviewing the redneck Riviera casinos. Moving on to Biloxi, Mississippi. Wednesday, August 15th, 2018, episode 6. The Red Eye Gamblers present 99% Craps. Alright, so post-trip report from Baton Rouge. So first casino we went to was Hollywood Casino, which was riverboat. Parking lot was a parking lot, no garage, and we had a good parking spot actually, it was close to the door. Walked in, it was very
it wasn't new, but it was very well kept.
well, it gave you the illusion of it being a real casino, because you walk into this lobby space. It's almost like a airport terminal. They had valet, a circle valet. You'd walk in, and then it was a lobby space, and you had like a gift shop and a bar, and then you had to walk down the boat ramp and then up a boat ramp to get onto the boat. And then once you got on the boat, it was actually really nice. It had a Hollywood theme. Actually, I think we saw they had Rain Man's costume.
His suit.
His suit from Rain Man, the show.
Do you call that
Dustin
pinstripe
Hoffman.
or plaid? I think it was more of a
That
plaid.
was a pinstripe. I don't think it was plaid.
No, but the lines went both ways.
That's not. Anyway, it was a suit,
It was a suit
and it was his suit.
from Rain Man.
Yes,
This is true.
Dustin Hoffman's suit. So, which I guess actually, wasn't Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise wearing the same suit? Because weren't they matching?
Well, they were brothers. Of course they were matching.
Okay, so we don't know which suit it was.
That is true. We didn't stop and read it.
No, we didn't stop.
And both of them
So-
are men of small stature.
Well, there you go. So now you got something to do if anybody wants to go to Baton Rouge and go to the Hollywood Casino. You can figure out or have the surprise of whether it was Dustin Hoffman's suit or if it was Tom Cruise's suit. Hell, they could have used the same suit and changed it day to day. So,
And maybe if you take a picture next to it and post it up on one of our accounts, we'll send you a free gift. I happen to have a crock pot.
that is false advertising. We already talked about you giving that to your mother.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mom.
So anyway, so Hollywood Casino obviously is Hollywood themed. Kind of like a Planet Hollywood was, where they've got movie posters and stuff like that, film strips and whatnot. But walk in and it's a 3-story casino, very small floor plates, and the cage, cashier, and customer service is all rolled into one, and it's right when you walk into the boat on the first floor. So the cool part was craps table, as well as bubble craps machine was on the first floor, so we didn't have to do any stairs. So that was cool. And
The table, you got to talk about the table because the table was...
Well, how are we not going to talk about the table?
I'm just so excited about talking about this table.
Okay, so there's actually 1.5 tables in the casino. There's a 14-foot table that was not in action, and then there was probably...
Got to call it a 6-footer, right?
It was probably not 6 foot. It was probably 7 or 8 foot.
Yeah, but it was one of the weirdest shaped tables I've ever seen.
Well, it was half a table.
with a weird back wall and a weird hook and
had one dealer slash box person slash stickman, all in one person running the table, which was very odd. They did have a pit boss or floor person, and then the table had one person at it. We made it 3, and then that guy left, and then 2 other guys came by. So it definitely had some action going on it.
no bonus bets though.
Yeah, no ATS, but
minimum of $10 per bet.
It was a $10 table and had 20 times odds, and it was in very good condition. It looked almost brand new.
It did.
So the felt was new, the printing was new, and so basically.
And didn't you even comment that the dice were new?
Oh yeah, well they should be new because they should have had dice coming out in the morning. So yeah, they felt really sharp. So that was nice. I liked that. So, but yeah, so basically you had half of the layout printed, and then, you know, basically the proposition bets were printed, and then you had about 18 inches of felt beyond that, and then the diamonds that were wrapping around.
And the back wall is higher.
Well, the back wall was higher, and then it also had plexiglass going up to like 5 feet total, maybe 6 feet, because I think I could probably put my nose on it and look right over, but it was high. So you could have spectators at the end of it, but
and dice not jumping off of it.
Really, it only fit maybe 6 people tops.
You could maybe squeeze a little bit more in there, but not comfortably. Six comfortably, I would say. Yeah.
You count the slots that were on the table.
Yeah, but
there were 2 on the end, 1 on the corner, and 3 on the side. That's 6.
That is 6.
You really need to pay more attention.
I didn't pay that much attention.
No, you didn't. So anyway, it was a fun little table. It almost feels like, well, it's tough because it puts you into, you think you're playing a game as opposed to you playing craps.
Well, and I felt like I was literally only throwing the dice like 3 feet.
You were. If you got to, you know, your normal stick, normal. That was the other thing. You could only be stick left.
Yeah, you couldn't be stick right.
No, there was no stick right.
That was the roulette table next to us.
The stick left was the only deal that you could do. So you had stick left 1, stick left 2, and then you were on the hook, and then the end. And even at the end, yeah, you're only throwing. It maybe was 6 feet, maybe 7-foot table. It wasn't an 8-foot table.
Well, but then it wasn't even like a normal hook. It was different shape.
Well, it was still an oval, but then what it did
like a Humpty Dumpty oval.
Well, you got to remember. So if you're looking at the table and where the stick guy was, the dealer, he had his chips in front of him. Well, so your chips are sticking out, right? So what did he have on the other end to protect the chips? He had actually the table curved around, so there was a blind spot.
Yeah, there was a blind spot for him
because it was basically diamonds wrapping all around to the front of his bank.
Well, I was able to see the dice that went behind there a little bit more easily than he could because I was across from it. Yeah.
No, but I mean that's the thing with this short table is it actually, the diamonds wrap around in almost like a curly Q. So you actually have the back wall, 2 side walls, and then as you come in front of the bank, in front of the stick, it wrapped around again. So you could actually bounce back to back, on the diamonds. It was very odd, but it is what it is. And I wasn't expecting that table there. Last time I was at that casino, they did not have that there. They had the big one working.
Oh, and so only the second one had the,
So yeah, so anyway, so we played on that table.
Well, and from the casino's point of view, if they're not that busy, now all of a sudden you've been able to cut off 3 other salaries.
4, 5. Boxman, 4 dealers.
Oh, that's right, because you're rotating.
Yeah. So you got rid of the boxman and 4 dealers. So you actually eliminated 4 positions because one guy's doing it all.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, especially if
And it was kind of a fast game, even though it was just 1 dealer. It was still kind of fast because he wasn't having to do a whole bunch, but...
Well, there wasn't a lot of people. That casino, we only had 3 people max on the table. Yeah, it was when we went to the other one that it got a little busier, but then it was a matter of we had an experienced dealer and a non-experienced dealer.
No, the non-experienced dealer was terrible.
So, but we didn't play very long at Hollywood.
But it was cold in there.
It was nice. You were cold, and we had 2 other casinos to go to, so we didn't spend too much time there. We got down, and then, I left down. You left up, or did you leave even?
Yeah, that was the first stop. We left even.
We left even.
Well, I was $5 down.
Oh, that's right. You were $5 down. I was $15 down. So, but we were up, and then we tried one more time, and then we lost. So that's how that happens. So anyway, so that was.
But overall, I kind of dug the place. I mean, it wasn't as much of a dive as I had imagined it from your descriptions.
I got the 2 mixed up on the dive.
Yeah, and I want to say it was actually very clean. Like I said, it's not a new casino, but it's a well-kept casino.
Yeah, no, the carpet was clean. They had the new machines in there. They had a Walking Dead slot, and like I said, they had bubble craps in there too. No, it's a nice. It is the number 2 facility in Baton Rouge.
Okay,
Definitely.
I would say that. I would agree with that.
And it would be something that I wouldn't mind going back to.
I had fun at the little craps table. I thought it was a nice little
that's the
different thing to do.
It seems like a novelty.
Yeah.
Now I want to say that's also what they got in at the Golden Nugget in downtown Vegas by the pool. I think it's the same exact size, but
I think that one was a little bit smaller actually, because I remember that one.
Yeah. Anyway, but small craps tables are kind of fun, and that's the thing. It pulls you out of the game that you're normally playing because all of a sudden you think of different opportunities.
Well, I mean, I had a pretty good roll there. I was able to go on a 20-some-odd roll with a few points.
You hit several points on yours, and you got me out of the hole.
I felt like I was just kind of picking up the dice and almost just setting them right next to the wall.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. If you can feel comfortable doing it, then do it. But it's definitely different than a 12 or 14 or 16 foot table. So, but overall, I liked it. It was just it's a riverboat.
It's a small place for sure. And I think if we were there on a Friday or Saturday and they were actually very busy,
well, they had the other table going,
and there were a lot of people there, I don't think I would have liked it as much. I think I liked it because it was
small.
Because it's small and there weren't not many people there while we were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, that's what you get when you go on a Monday. That's why we like Mondays and stuff.
Well, yeah, that was Monday at 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Yeah.
So
it's only us people with no jobs that go gamble on a Monday.
Right. So anyway, so that was Hollywood Casino. After that, we went over to the Belle of Baton Rouge.
That one was a dive.
That was. Let's just say colorful.
Well, let's say that when I was getting my player's card, the part where you
hostess.
Well, in front of her, where you slide your credit card on, or you sign it, whatever, on the screen, I took my finger and was able to wipe off a whole layer of dust, and I was just thinking, at some point, did somebody not want to dust this for us?
Oh well, yeah. No, the maintenance. We can talk about the cleanliness of the boat because we can talk about the cleanliness of the tables that were there.
Yeah, that one table,
So technically there are, again, 1.5 tables there. However, the full table, which is probably a 16-footer, 14-footer, a bigger table, it looked like it hadn't been played on in months.
Non-operational. And there was small little shelves laying on the table.
Well, those weren't shelves. Those were drop boxes.
No,
those were the tip boxes.
It looked like a part of it might have been part of it, but it looked like a rack.
Well, they were all stacked up against each other. They were all the tip boxes. But yeah, it had equipment laying on it. It had the plastic case that goes over the bankroll, but there was no bankroll there at all. Nothing. It had, like a couple folded pieces of paper.
And there was even a used, balled up gum wrapper on the table.
Yeah. Well, and there were stains and ashes and cigarettes, all that crap all over the place on this table. And so, like I said, it didn't look like it had been used for months. So
that might be generous.
Yeah, that might be generous.
More than months.
So that all being said, then they had a...
Well, and what was the first thing I said was, ooh, I wonder if they'd sell me this table. And then
why?
Dave said, you know how hard it'd be to get it off this boat?
Well, there's that, and why the fuck would you want something like that that's dirty as fuck?
I can clean it.
You'd have to refelt it.
Well, we'd probably want to refelt it anyway. I know, that's another conversation, another place.
That did not look like anything we wanted to do.
It was. I would have liked that table. I would like a big table like that.
Did you even look at the rails?
Yeah.
Did you look at the drink rail?
It had some personality to it. Well, I mean, I'm hoping since they're not using it that they're not.
Obviously, it's not a winning table.
$3,000 on it. I was hoping they'd take like $300 for it. You know, here, let me get this out of your way for you, and here's $300. Hey, you know, guys can dream, okay? Let me have my dream.
That's a nightmare.
Okay.
That table was a nightmare. So anyway, so we didn't play on that table because it was non-functional. So what did they have? They had a small table. So just like the one we were playing at before.
But not new like the other one.
No, this one was also crappy as shit.
The felt was worn for sure.
Felt was worn.
And did you notice that they were letting that guy rub the dice across the felt and toss it? Because at the other place they complained to that guy.
No, I didn't notice that.
But he was the
no,
young kid.
I mean, I didn't notice somebody getting yelled at for doing that.
Yeah, at the place before. Well, it might have been the night
Hollywood?
before. No, it might have been the night before at Golden or something. But he was rubbing the table with the dice, and the dealer wouldn't, or the box man wouldn't let him do it because he was like, you're damaging the felt. But here they didn't care.
Oh yeah, no, the felt was already fucked up.
It's already damaged.
And the dice weren't new, and there were stains on this table.
Ooh, there's a DQ in this city
and
too.
It was another nasty ass table. However, it was a lucky table. It actually we had 6 people at that table going for a little bit.
Yeah, but the first dealer was terrible.
Oh, he was horrible. Well, let's go back to the casino. The casino is actually kind of horrible too. Besides the dirty customer service area, the dirty credit card thing, the dirty big craps table, the dirty small craps table, everything else was dirty too. It was an old casino that needs some love. Please, somebody give it some love, because I'm not probably going to go back there. Although it was easy to buy in for $300, and you know, we left with what, $350? We were up
$385.
Yeah. So we stayed there actually for an hour, didn't we? We stayed there a little longer than we expected, because there was actually some people with some good rolls. So yeah, but the first dealer, he was no bueno. Not good. It was taking him. He was having a hard time counting.
Yeah, right.
He had a really hard time counting, and then thank God he switched out in his 15-20 minutes. And then he's a more seasoned gentleman. He was really, really good, and he knew a couple of the regulars that were there. So once he got to the table, everything else was great. So overall, we had a decent time at Belle of Baton Rouge, but it's definitely the bottom of the casinos to go to.
Well, it was definitely like a going to a dive bar. You know, we can still find a way to have a good time, but you know, sometimes you feel like that. Sometimes you want to go to the dive bar.
I'll give you that. We went to Lauberge of Baton Rouge, which was a good 15-20 minutes.
Now that place was muy bueno.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice casino. Actually, it rivals Golden Nugget in Lake Charles, and casinos on the Strip, and casinos in Biloxi. It's definitely the crown jewel of Baton Rouge.
Well, the lobby, it was impressive. The vaulted ceilings with all the wood, and the glass was beautiful.
Yeah, and looks like they've got a really nice steak restaurant. The sports bar was good, which we had lunch at, and the casino's nice. So what I think they had 4 tables. That was the other thing. Those other 2 places did not have any bonus bets.
Not on the small tables, yes.
Yeah, the
Yes,
small
that is
tables
correct.
did not, and the one big table that wasn't working at Hollywood, they didn't have it either.
Correct.
So, but Baton Rouge, Lauberge of Baton Rouge did have the bonus bet.
And I was close. I needed a 2 or a 12.
Yeah, 2 or 12
for
so,
the ATS.
And that was another 14-foot table, and they were nice. The dealers were young and not as seasoned as they should have been.
And everything was good until that young lady shortchanged me.
Well, she shortchanged you, and the stick person let the dice go before she was done paying out.
And I was still calculating in my head, and they were already clearing the board, and I was like, wait a second.
No, you did not say a word.
No, I was still calculating. I was trying to figure out.
You didn't say wait a second, because if you would have said wait a second, something would have happened.
I said it in my head.
Well,
I know. It happened so quickly, and I'm still upset about it. So we're not going to talk about this.
Obviously, you are. I didn't bring it up.
71, 41. I got shorted $30. But I came back and had a pretty good roll there.
I thought you weren't going to talk about it.
I know. Well, it's like when you ask a woman, is there anything wrong? She says no. You can't just drop it.
So now you're a woman?
I said like a woman.
So you're like a woman.
I am like a woman.
So, but Lauberge in Baton Rouge was a fine casino. It's definitely worth the trip out there. It's right next to LSU campus, so that was kind of really cool. If you're ever going to go to LSU game or something like that, definitely stop by.
It wasn't a big casino though. It was
not huge, but it was definitely bigger than the two boats.
Oh well, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I mean it's one floor. There's no multiple levels. I mean the boats were 3 stories each, and they had a table and a half, so to speak. Now this was your regular one single floor layout. Table games in the middle, along with the craps tables. So there were 4 craps tables, all about 14 footers, and they had ATS on it, and then they also had the sharpshooter bet. And we'll get into the sharpshooter bet later.
That's probably, Dave said.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's probably the first time that I have ever seen 2 bonus bets on the same table.
Well, if you remember, the last time we saw a sharpshooter was at Monte Carlo.
And that was the only bonus
they had on it. Yeah. They had ATS on one table, right. They had the bonus on the other.
Yeah. And then, we've seen a few places where they've had different bonus bets on different tables, but I've never seen 2 on one table, so I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I saw it when I was in Black Hawk. They had those 2 bets. But we'll go into those bets later as we get through the podcast. So anyway, Lauberge was fun, really, really clean, really nice. The #1 casino in Baton Rouge for sure.
And beautiful lake, beautiful view of the lake. Or I guess I say Lake Mississippi River, right?
Yes, it's the Mississippi River. Good. I'm glad you're paying attention finally.
Well, where, in Golden Nugget and Lauberge and Lake Charles, that river is questionable.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Mississippi is questionable probably also.
Yeah, no, I grew up around the Mississippi. You do not go in the Mississippi.
It's not one of the rivers you swim in, right?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. You don't know what's underneath. So actually it's a beautiful casino. Definitely recommend to go. And we had decent rolls there too.
I pounded some 6s and 8s.
You had a decent roll. I PSO'd.
I pounded me some 6s and 8s.
Yeah, you did good. You did really good. And then there were a couple other people that did good at the table too. I did not. I actually didn't roll well today at all. So I'm a little disappointed with that, but whatever. There's always later tonight and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow.
Always a table going on somewhere.
That's true. So anyway, so that's kind of the end of the Baton Rouge trip. As we've been saying, we actually are now pulling into Harrah's in Biloxi and getting ready to start the Biloxi part of our tour. So we'll give you guys some updates and some scouting reports and trip reports later.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I hit record and you cough. Is that how you do this?
A wickety wickety whack. That's how you started off.
No, you don't.
And he had a decent little role, or his girl had a better role than he did, but he just went crazy on the dome.
Give yourself to the dark side.
We're at
Little Bellagio,
Beau Rivage.
Belle Rivage. I just thought it was just funny because like he had 3,000 or 4,000 in front of him, and then he went on that. He just lost like $6 grand. That was crazy. Every time I think about playing the don't and getting crazy, I'm going to think about that guy.
Yeah, I don't know what made him go to that extreme.
I mean, even if your girl is telling you it's time to go, you can always cash in, right? I mean, isn't that the point?
I don't think that was why he bet the money. I don't think it was because of his girl.
No, I don't think so either. She had a much better role than he did, though.
Well, and wasn't he just betting $150 6 and 8s, or
Just, but yeah.
I mean, it wasn't doing like $600 6 and 8s.
Right.
So why would you put, if you're not betting that extreme to begin with, why would you go that far?
Yo no say. I didn't understand it when it happened. I mean, at least if you're doing a don't system.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
And you lose, and then what system ever you're using, but say you triple your bet, you know, you're going to get the odds back up and you're going to triple it. And then if you lose that, you know what your next play is. I mean, this was just a play out of random. You know, I mean,
Well, we don't know how people think.
I don't know how I think, but I know I think better than that.
So, Biloxi, Mississippi, post-trip report.
We visited a few casinos.
How many casinos did we go to? Where was the first place we went?
Starting in Biloxi.
Well, if I'm talking about a Biloxi trip report, where would be the Biloxi trip? Yes.
Yeah, a simple yes would have been sufficient. I would say, well, we checked into Harrah's. Did we play at Harrah's first? Or did we go somewhere else when we checked in? Gosh, these days are really blending together.
Well, we were here for 4 days. We got here
Monday
night, late. Actually, that's exactly what we did. We went to Harrah's first because we went to Harrah's New Orleans and didn't have reservations. And then we were wanting to check into the hotel, and so yeah, we went to Harrah's. But we didn't play the first night. We scouted the first night.
Oh, that's right. You are correct. We did walk around all the different. Well, we walked around. We traveled to all the different places. You showed them all to me.
That's the one thing. Biloxi is not pedestrian friendly. You really can't. I mean, you can walk around if you want to, but it's like a mile or more in between casinos.
They're not far, but they're not close.
Well, a few of them are paired up where you got a couple properties across the street or next door to each other. But the properties are medium-sized to small-sized casinos, but the property's big. So the parking garages, the hotels, it stretches across property. So walking from a casino out the front door, down the street, into another casino could easily take you a half hour if you were going to walk.
It could be quite the hike.
So it's definitely you want a automobile or something of that nature. I did see cabs, and I would assume Uber's out here somewhere in some form or fashion, but I'm not sure.
But, you know, on their way up here, I checked what Biloxi's population is, and I think it's at like around 45,000.
So it's small town.
It's a small town.
Well, and it's slow. So anybody who's coming from a big city, be prepared to have patience.
Yeah, everybody seems
Nobody's
to drive
moving fast
real
at
slow.
all. So, including the dealers and everybody else. Although the craps games move pretty fast. So, Biloxi post-trip report. I guess we can just start going through the casinos. I think the first casino we actually played at was the Palace. And the only reason we stopped there is because it was, I think, one of our last casinos we went to go scout, and it was the only one that was open that had a $3 table. And we thought we'd at least stop at a $3 table and play, because what harm could be done at a $3 table?
A lot of harm can be done at a $3
Holy crap. Yeah, that's the sucker bet there. Low limit table, and then all of a sudden you're betting everything and losing on everything.
Well, and you're not getting true payoffs, which hurts you.
No, true. So, but the Palace is actually a very clean, nice
Smoke-free.
casino. Oh yeah, it's smoke free. So for the smokers out there, maybe not for you, but yeah, that was one of the things. I think one of the only casinos out there that's smoke free. I think there's smoke free sections in some other casinos, but this one was entirely smoke free.
That is true.
So, and they just had one table. It did have ATS, and 10 times limits. The one interesting thing with Biloxi that I guess is a little different from the other casinos we've been to, or a lot of the cities we've been to, they had stools at almost every table so that you could sit down.
Yeah,
while
but these
playing.
stools are pretty cool because they would slide right underneath the table
Yeah,
if you
they're
didn't need them.
small. They're small stools, so they fit underneath the table. But I mean, I know some places, you get the senior citizens, somebody over 60 years old and wants to pull a chair over, and he's got to ask somebody to bring it over for him. But no, I mean, they got stools underneath all the tables, which was interesting.
But then you end up looking like the little kid sitting at the big
That's
people
true.
table.
Yeah, your head is like right above the rail, and your arms are like above your ears. So it does look kind of weird. And then obviously you have to stand in order to throw. And to be honest, you got to stand to pick up your money. So it's kind of weird.
It's an up and down game.
There it is. But yeah, so the Palace was all right. We didn't do too well. I think we had fatigue going on for us. It was late. It was after midnight. And the good thing was we didn't buy in for much. I think we only bought in for 3. But we got crazy with just spreading things out, hoping to catch a roll, and nothing happened. So, but and then it just left a bad taste in our mouth, so we didn't really come back to it. And then there's really no reason to, because this was one that was kind of set away from itself. The slots and the other things, I mean, it all was current and looked good. It was clean. But the crowd, there wasn't a crowd. I think I say that, and it was after midnight when we were there. So it just didn't have a good vibe, so we didn't go back. That was Monday night, Tuesday early morning.
We woke up and we played.
Oh,
on the tub.
we got up. Yeah, so we stayed at Harrah's Gulf Coast, which is Total Rewards property, and they actually have 2.5 tables. Actually, I would say 2 3/4, because this one actually, it's 2 3/4, because we talked about in Baton Rouge there were half tables, in which case you'd throw from one end and the other end was just a wall.
You could only throw through one
Right.
end. Yeah, right.
So, but Harrah's actually has crapless and then a regular table. Those are both, I think they're both 14-foot tables, because they were bigger than the ones over at Golden Nugget.
Correct.
And they did have ATS, and they did have $5 minimum. And again, I think the whole city of Biloxi is at 10 times odds. So, so anyway, we got up in the morning, and the big table wasn't open. And we walk around, and lo and behold, they've got what looks to be like a 6 foot or 7 foot table.
Two dealers.
Well, one stick man, one box man, but they performed all the dealer functions. So 2 people at the table, and then it was a $5 table, but
It was funny how the numbers, it was only one set of numbers that went all the way across.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So instead of your normal layout being split into half and half, this was just one set of numbers, 4 through 10 on the top, and that was it. Yeah, it was a really short toss to get to the other side. So it was really kind of fun, and I actually had a really good time playing the Don't.
Give yourself to the dark side.
With a couple other people who they were playing the Don't. So the whole table was playing Don't, and we were making money doing it. So it was a lot of fun. And but yeah, Harrah's is like I said, total rewards property. They had I'll call it 2 3/4 tables, and then a good amount of table games. They've got a 24-hour steak and shake, which is actually really good. And then they had a buffet, but it wasn't open on the weekdays, and I don't think it was open for lunch. So they must not be very busy or crowded. They had a really nice pool. We enjoyed the pool area for a while.
Yes,
and then they've got a couple of tables outside, but they weren't running. I'm assuming they probably run during the summertime when school gets out in the summertime. Starts getting a little busier in the beach town of Biloxi, Mississippi. But enjoyed playing at Harrah's. They were really nice. I would say half the staff was really good. The other staff was just good.
Right.
We found a couple of seasoned dealers, and they knew what they were doing, and they were funny. And but the last couple nights we were there, they had
only the crapless
table going, and so we play both sides. And on a crapless table, you can't play Don't.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of the crapless table because there's a lot of sucker bets out there, and the other thing is it was $10 minimum.
That is also correct.
Yeah, the crapless table, they bumped up the minimum from $5 to $10, so that ends up being expensive to start laying all the numbers.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you can cover 2, 3, 11, and 12
for $10 each is an extra $40.
Yeah.
Well, but that was the whole point of playing on the $3 table, was you could cover all the numbers and it would only be $17 or $22. But you can't do that on a crapless table when it's $10. That's just too much money. And then 3 rolls and you're out.
Yeah, I mean, when you're covering that much, well, there definitely has to be a regression play for that. 2 or 3 rolls, take a couple hits, and come, go to the inside.
Well, we started thinking about it, but we have to have a whole discussion on crapless.
Well, it doesn't help with the people you're playing with. Roll 7s in the first couple of rolls.
Well, that's everybody.
Yeah, me included.
So,
I might be more to blame than others.
So that was Harrah's. Harrah's, I give it maybe a
3.5
B
star.
B plus
out of 5. Yeah, that's about where I'd
give it a B plus. The hotel room was nice. The beds were really comfortable. Had a Starbucks. Had a diner kind of place in the middle. Besides the Steak and Shake.
But other than Steak and Shake, we didn't eat anything else there.
Well, no, but they had a bunch of restaurants.
They did.
So they did have a couple other places to eat, and then they've got 2 parking garages actually. Parking garage in the back for the hotel, and a parking garage off to the front and the side for the casino. So easy access, free parking. Relatively painless. But enjoyed playing there. I just wish they would have had the regular craps table going. instead of the crapless, then we would have played there more.
Well, and I think that's probably one of the biggest differences between Vegas and Biloxi is it was all free parking. I mean, we didn't pay for parking anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, that's the difference between playing in any small city. It's always free parking. Vegas is the only place that charges parking.
New Orleans will be.
Well, not at the casino. Casino, you get free parking when you play.
Yeah, well, good.
That's why we're going there. But no, well, I'm sure Atlantic City's probably not free either, but we've never been there. But my assumption is, yeah, I mean, free parking at everywhere else so that you can attract customers to your casino. So, all right, so that was Harrah's. Pretty much after Harrah's, we went down to the Hard Rock to try to play, but every time we went there to play, they were packed. They actually have 6 tables, but they only had 1 table working.
We never saw more than 1 table working, did we?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
They only have 1 table working. So, and they did have a crapless table out there too. Their tables, they had 2 sizes. Looked like they had a 14 and a 16. They did an ATS, but not on every table, so it depends on what table was working. And they did have $10 minimum. That was another reason why we weren't really too excited to get in and crowd up next to other people, because we knew there were other $5 tables in town. But the Hard Rock is another beautiful facility. They've got a nice parking garage, easy access. You got to kind of walk around to get to the craps tables. Got to walk through kind of their food court area, which they've got a pizza place, a Ben and Jerry's, and Dunkin' Donuts, and then they've got the Hard Rock Cafe. Swing around the corner to the left, and then they've got like they've got this new robo bar thing where it's like a mechanical arm that makes drinks. So that
was very cool.
Had an audience of maybe 15, 20 people watching it, which, you know, I guess that's something to watch. Looked like a big, you know, in automaking, when they're making cars, of just one of those big arms that kind of puts car parts together. It looks like that, and they were basically shaking and mixing drinks.
Because all the alcohols are hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
So it's a very cool thing. You know, it doesn't tell very good jokes, though, I hear.
Well, it doesn't talk. Yeah, so anyway, so that was an attraction there. And then get into the casino. The casino's it's a good-sized casino. Like I said, it has 6 tables, plenty of table games, plenty of slots, and a central bar that's elevated, so you can kind of go up to the bar and look out around the casino floor. The music was good. Videos were playing with all the music. And then obviously, it being a Hard Rock, it has all the rock memorabilia everywhere around. It was actually pretty impressive.
That's quite an impressive collection.
I would assume it's the same at all the Hard Rock properties, though. So it's probably up to par with the rest of them. But you know, it is a Hard Rock. It's down in the south, so it's something unique out there. I mean, you know, the only other one I know is in Vegas, and I'm not sure where other Hard Rock casinos would be at this moment. So, but it was crowded. It was really crowded every single time we were there. And that's the other thing. I mean, a lot of these people who are at the properties, gamblers, they're, you know what man-spreading is?
Man-spreading? No, explain that to me, please.
Okay, well, that's what they were talking about in New York when you're riding the subways and all these guys are spreading their legs so nobody sits right next to them. That's what basically these guys are doing at the craps table. They fucking put their chips in like 2 racks and then sit in these stools and then fling out their elbows so nobody can get by them. So they take up 3 spots instead of 2 spots, much less 1. And so then when they're sitting down, you can't really stand up right next to them because of the bar stool thing. So yeah, it was not a comfortable. And then, you know, that was the other thing. At some of the casinos, there were really cool guys, and they were like, hey, come on in, and they wanted more people to join the party.
Right.
You know, some of these older guys that were man-spreading, they weren't very nice. You know, they weren't very, they didn't want to, it left a negative karma on the table kind of impression. And so, yeah, go figure, you know, with a bad attitude, you're probably going to lose. So, anyway, so we didn't play at the Hard Rock. We tried every single day to go over there. And every single day they were busy. And then last night was the first night that we actually, they had 2 tables open, and both of them were open, and then they closed one right when we got there.
Right. They were
So they went back down to 1. So we missed playing at the Hard Rock. Would have liked to play at the Hard Rock, but again, it was another $10 table with 10 times odds. So no bueno. But the property overall is nice. I think maybe next time we get out to Biloxi, we might try to stay there. The pool looked really nice.
Yeah, it did.
It was a much bigger pool than the Harrah's pool. The Harrah's pool was nice. I don't think I forgot to mention that. The Harrah's pool was really nice. And then the cool thing, I guess, about the Hard Rock is it's actually on the other side of the main beach road, beach drag, beach boulevard. And so their property is right up against the Gulf, where Harrah's is across the street. So their pool looks across over to the Gulf of Mexico, versus Hard Rock is actually on the Gulf of Mexico. And so you could see the beach, and you were right there. So that was kind of cool. And then next door to the Hard Rock is the Beau Rivage. The Beau Rivage is what we're kindly nicknaming it the Mini Bellagio. It is a Mini Bellagio. It's the M Life Properties, and they're the ones that always offer us airfare to fly to Biloxi and stay at their casino. So I think next time we might try to do that, or at least stay there. It is pretty identical to the Bellagio in
well,
Vegas.
you know, I think it's a lower version of it, but it's a beautiful place.
I didn't mean it's the same. I meant it's like a cousin.
Yes.
So, but you walk in and you know exactly who it is.
Absolutely. You know,
I mean, you're not confused at all.
The nose and the ears are just the same. But yes, no, it looks very similar.
No, I mean,
good feel.
It's got the shops. Place. It's got you know, the same flowers, the same landscaping, the same check-in desk. Other than they don't have that Chihuly glass ceiling, all those plates in the ceiling. They don't have the big fountain. Actually, they've got a really tiny fountain. But they've got the railing that looks just like the outside, and the shape of the casino, the shape of the hotel tower, mimics the shape of the Bellagio. And when I want to say it's like 27 stories or something like that, they probably got like, you know, 700, 800 rooms. And then it takes you forever to get from the free garage into the elevator, and then walk through all the shops, go through the front desk, and then get into the casino.
Well, that's
like a half mile just there.
That's what most made it like a casino.
Well, that's
in
true.
Vegas.
Yeah. Well, most like the Bellagio, it takes forever to get to the craps tables from the outside. You got to walk a mile from. If you're coming from another casino going into the Bellagio, you got to walk all the way back to the back just to get into the casino, and then you still got to walk to go get to the craps tables, which was exactly the same. And I guess the only good part. So inside the Beau Rivage, the craps tables, there are 6 of them, and 2 of them are crapless, and they usually had 2 or 3 going at all times. Last night they had 4 for a while, and then they shut one down, and then they had 3. But they had a $25 table, and then the rest were 10s. And then they shut it down to 2 tables, and it was a crapless table and a regular table, both $10 limits, and then 10 times odds. These were 12-foot tables. They're very comfortable. They had really comfortable stools that were pushed underneath the table, and the dealers were good. The dealers were actually really good. I want to say most likely we probably liked the dealers at the Beau Rivage better than any other casino.
Well, there was a guy that looked like Will Ferrell. No, not Will Ferrell. Who was it that you said last night?
Chris Farley. Yes,
close.
but we weren't with him, and so we don't know if he was funny. But he looked and sweated like him.
Yeah, he was. He was working hard.
Beau Rivage is another. Well, actually, I want to say it's probably one of the biggest casinos that were there.
Yes, I would. I mean, without looking at the actual square footage of each one, I would say, yeah, that was definitely the biggest. All the other ones were relatively small.
Yeah, I would say they're medium to small size. Well, I mean, this one had 6 tables. I don't know that there was another casino. Well, the Hard Rock had six tables. I don't know that there were any other facilities that had more than 4 or more than 2, really. But it was definitely the nicest. I would say it is the A property. And we weren't able to go look at the pool. I'm sure it's top notch. So I would say the next time we go is I definitely want to stay at that property, because that's also one of those properties. They're all giving free rooms away, so it won't be hard for us to stay anywhere we want next time. So I think we would definitely probably stay at Beau Rivage. And then, the tables were friendly. The people were friendly. There was people playing both sides. So they had dumb players and regular players, and they had smart players and dumb players. They did have the ATS. Oh, the one big difference that Beau Rivage had is they had triple on the field.
Oh, is that? I was going to ask where we saw the triple on the field.
Triple on the field for the 12. It was the only one. So double on the 2, triple on the 12.
And I think one of the other differences on the bonus bet was it was a lower payout.
Yeah, they had the 30 and 150 versus 34 and 175. Yeah, no, that's the other thing. There's definitely a difference in the payouts, but again, it's a bonus. I mean, the chances of hitting that bonus are so freaking slim anyway. 30. What's the big deal between 30 and 34? It still pays. It's still better than friggin' 10 times. So, but we liked it. We played there a bunch and had a decent experience there. And again, I would say that's their A property in Biloxi. Then from there, we went over to IP.
IP?
Yeah, which we call the IP. IP. I forgot I thought I found what that stood for, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And the last time I asked an employee, they didn't know. So we're just going to call it the IP until somebody lets us know, or until I find my notes. But they were a good 2 miles from the Hard Rock and the Beau Rivage, straight up on 110. And they're in the bay of whatever, I guess it's St. Louis Bay, or Bay of St. Louis. And so they're off a little bit, and they have a multi-story tower, probably, I think, a 12-story tower of hotel rooms and stuff like that.
32-story hotel.
Oh, 32, sorry. So, anyway, they've got a really confusing layout. They've got multiple floors of casinos, or multiple floors of games. We entered on the 2nd floor, which had slots and customer service and the buffet, and actually a really nice sports bar with horrible food and horrible service.
Yes.
And then you have to take escalator down, or elevator for that matter, down to the 1st floor, and then the table games are down there. And then they had 6 tables. 2 of them were going. One was $5, one was $10. They looked very worn. They were weathered. They weren't new, that's for damn sure. And then they had stools as well.
Well, that means there's been a lot of people playing on them.
Yeah, no, they definitely, I would say that was definitely a local's favorite. There were a lot of people that had IP t-shirts that were there, and a lot of things like that.
Or they were just buying clothes from there because it was so cold in all those casinos.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing to note. Yeah, Biloxi does not
skimp on the AC.
Yeah, they were. It was chilly, so tank tops, flip flops, and shorts are not meant for the casinos in Biloxi.
I've literally worn a jacket this whole trip.
Yeah. So they were chilly, and like I said, they had 6 tables. 2 of them were going. One was a $5 table, one was a $10 table. They both had the ATS and double field. And the table that we got in at, the $5 table, actually had an all-female staff, so that was kind of unique and different. I don't think I've ever seen a craps table that had 100% female staff, dealers, stickman, boxman, all female. So that was kind of fun, and they knew their stuff. So,
yeah, they were good. They were fast, efficient, accurate, friendly, and they liked to dance to songs.
They had a good camaraderie with each other. They liked working together. You could definitely tell that, and they liked working the game. So IP, we were only there. We went there a couple times. We did the scouting trip, and then we came back for the game.
Would you put them and Harrah's on the same level, B plus-ish, or maybe slightly a little bit lower?
I would put them probably at a solid B.
So slightly lower.
I think they're comfortable, but they were still a little crowded. And I mean, they were okay, but it took a while to get a little bit like Bellagio and Hard Rock for that matter. It took a while to get from the car to the table.
Right.
It wasn't a quick deal. Now, granted, I think I might have found a shortcut on the way out, so I might have been a little quicker, so I might want to come back and revisit them later again, but no, for the most part, it was okay, but there were so many other places to go, so
this is true.
We didn't really stay there, and there were nicer places to go, but I'll leave them at a B. And then from IP, next door to IP, which is within walking distance, but again, it's like 2-3 blocks, is Boomtown. And I'm sure people are familiar with Boomtown casinos, but there's one in Biloxi. And so it is a single level. They have one craps table. They've got a lot of, I guess they've got a few historic items, historic slot machines that are in the shape of cowboys, so that's kind of interesting.
And Indians. I saw them, didn't we see them with Indians?
So that was kind of interesting. But then they did not have covered parking. They just got one big parking lot. Yeah. And then, and I'm not sure that they've got a hotel. I don't think they have a hotel. I think it's just a straight up casino. But we stopped by 3 different times, and each time the table was closed. One time it was closed before 10 p.m., which was really, really odd. I thought that was a little early for a casino to be closed. But they had a brand new felt on the table, which was all decorated with a picture of the front of the casino, which was interesting, but made it look like it was a dirty kind of, it was all black and white, or like a sepia tone kind of picture, and then it had the layout out there. They also had the ATS, and I want to say that was a 30 and 150 payout, so it was smaller. And then they had a double field. And this table actually was a 16-footer.
It was a big one, yeah.
It was a huge table. I was surprised some of these, there were a few old ladies, and they were struggling to get the dice down to hit the other end. I thought it was going to be real tough for them. And then the table was actually a $3 minimum. Anyway, so finally made it to Boomtown on yesterday afternoon, and it was open, and it had about 4 or 5 people there, and it was just a huge table. It was a long table, you know, a good 16 foot, and
You're getting some very random tossed dice on that table.
yeah, well, you were, and then I rolled, and I hit the ATS.
And you were on it?
Yeah,
You were on it.
that's how I ended up winning yesterday, getting out of my hole. I actually won $75 after being down like 200. So I played there. Bishop decided to abstain. He didn't want to get his hands dirty. So anyway, so we only stayed there. Actually, I say we only stayed there.
We were there for
The idea was to just stay for a half hour, 45 minutes. I think we ended up staying for 2 hours.
close to it.
Because I got into a hole and I had to dig myself out. And then I finally did, on the positive side, by hitting the ATS and a ton of points. I want to say I had probably a 30 plus roll.
Yeah.
So that was great. So then after Boomtown, then we went over to the Scarlet Pearl. Scarlet Pearl's another drive, another 2, 3, 4 miles north. It's on another little, maybe it could be on the bay again, another little inlet of water. It looked new. I want to say they said they had their grand opening in 2016. I think they had their grand opening, so it's only a couple years old, and it looks like it's only a couple years old. It looks brand freaking new. That's the place that's lit up like a mall. That's bright. That had the red carpet.
Okay. Yeah.
And we stayed there for a while and actually liked playing there. But it was very bright. That was where you played the slot machine and won. Well, you won. You got your free money. So now, Scarlet Pearl, free parking, covered garage parking, kind of nice. You walk in. It's really nice. It's very contemporary looking. They've got TVs all over the place, a big one at the very back. They've got a few restaurants in there, a place called Chopsticks, which is like, you know, kind of racist Asian.
Yeah, right.
And then they had a buffet in the back, and then a coffee place and a bar place. And then they had 2 tables. They're not next to each other. They're in 2 different kind of pit areas. The one that was working was a $5 table, so that was cool. The other one was, not around there. So, but they were 12-foot tables. They were real comfortable. They had blue layout. And I think the dealers were kind of 50-50. Some were cool, some were not. But we didn't stay too long. Well, I say too long. I still want to say we stayed there at least a couple hours.
Yeah.
And had a decent time. They had the ATS too, and double field. It was a comfortable table. You know, nobody gave us any heat, although we weren't really keeping our dice short at all. So, you know, if you're a dice thrower and you don't hit the back wall on a regular basis, you all know when there's heat on you or not, and we didn't get any heat whatsoever on this trip to Biloxi, so that was interesting. They let us set the dice, do what we wanted to do, and nobody said a friggin' word about anything. Which, you know, you go to Vegas and they you know, they can get on you for little things like that. So that was the cool thing, is it was actually enjoyable all the way around. Nobody gave us any heat for any of the ways we were playing. But Scarlet was good. Scarlet Pearl was good. And we definitely, I think, would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'd put them on a B+ level. We just need to spend more time. We only really played once over there because they were actually out of the way. It was a little bit of a drive to get to them. So, you know, from our casino hotel, it was, you know, 15 minutes. So we'd rather go to the places that are 5 minutes. So, and there's a ton. So then after Scarlet Pearl, then we moved over to our second casino hotel, which is the Golden Nugget. Golden Nugget, which we're familiar with from Lake Charles. They're out here now, and the look is identical to actually all their properties. They've got a good brand going on. Well, same way Bellagio and Mini Bellagio, Beau Rivage, and the same way the Hard Rock. They all have their iconic looks. They're all going to look the same. And I'm assuming Boomtown's probably the same way. They all kind of have that Western cowboy look, saloon look. And I would say Harrah's probably does too, but the only thing Harrah's has going for them is, you know, they got that purple and green or teal. It's more like the logo is the same, and some of the colors are the same. But I know we're going to the Harrah's now to New Orleans, and that looks more like a New Orleans casino than it being a Harrah's property. You know, it's got
it's more centralized theme to where it's
got
at.
It's themed on the city versus themed on the logo.
Yeah.
So, but Golden Nugget, they're another two-story kind of casino place. Although I say two-story, the majority of the casino is on the first floor. Upstairs on the second floor is only a splattering of slots here and there as you get past hotel reception. So if you're showing up to the casino or the hotel, there's two garages. There's one for the casino and then there's one for the hotel. They won't tell you that because I don't think their security staff knows how to direct people the right way. But you can park underneath the hotel and then use the elevators to get closer to hotel registration versus going to the casino garage and then pulling all your luggage through the casino, up an escalator or up an elevator to the second floor and then to registration. So, but another beautiful casino. I want to say it was redone in 2015 right after the hurricane that came through. And they're another top-notch facility. I'd give them a B+, A- on their stuff. Don't really know why I would give them anything lower than that. Well, actually, I can now that I think about it. But they actually have 4 tables. Only had one table working the entire trip. And when we first got there, it was a $10 table. Then all of a sudden, Thursday morning, it changed and became a $5 table.
Which made no sense.
It was weird. Why would you have a $10 table on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and then Thursday morning change it to $5?
That's finally, and maybe that's when people are finally coming in for the weekends. I don't know. Maybe it almost seems like Lake Charles and Biloxi are opposites in how they do things.
Yeah. Well, it's got to maybe. I was trying to think it's got to do with clientele, but I don't know. Keep the locals away from you during the week, and then you've got these great things on the weekends. I don't get it, but anyway, that was another weird one. Their ATS I think was 30 and 150 as well. They had double on the field. Their tables are identical to the other properties. So the tables in Biloxi are exactly the same tables as the one in Lake Charles. So they're 12-footers, really nice, and the dealers were good. Most of the dealers were good.
Except for the one
today.
this morning.
Today was, oh my God, I don't even know how to describe this. They put someone who absolutely knows nothing about the game as a dealer on the game.
He must be doing blackjack or something else.
But then you could talk to him in blackjack terms about...
Well, and that's what I was thinking. Even on the 5 and 9 when it hit, he didn't know 3 to 2 payouts.
He didn't know what to pay out or how to pay out.
Yeah.
And then he didn't know any etiquette. That dice almost hit his hands because he's talking with his hands. Oh yeah, no, it was a nightmare waiting to happen.
Well, and then even once he was shown, number 5 hit twice, and he was confused on what to pay the second time also.
Well, then then the guy who wanted to press, he didn't know what a press was. And then he thought that everybody presses. Yeah, no, I've never seen anybody at a craps table who didn't know at all.
Well, you know how we actually talk about
rules.
when people walk up to a table and interrupt, starting to ask questions on how do you play this game, and it was almost amplified and magnified, because here it's not a customer or guest walking up, it's
an employee.
the guy that's supposed to be running, well, not running the whole game, but a guy that's dealing the game.
Yeah. No, I don't understand how you get anybody to work a casino table who has never even read the manual on
how
the
to play
table.
craps. He didn't even know the basic things. But I would say if we'd had more time and hadn't been having to get
We probably easily could have taken advantage of him if we didn't have
we
to
would have
leave.
definitely played the don't.
Give yourself to the dark side.
Well, they probably would have had to switch side. They would have switched the dealers if we'd started playing the don't,
Well, no, what would have happened is it would have taken forever to get paid.
which would have pissed off the
Would
shooter.
have pissed off the shooter
might
and
have helped
everybody else
us
at
in
the
the-
table.
Might have helped us in the long run.
We will never know,
We will
although
never
I
know.
didn't feel good about that at all.
Not playing the positive, I'll tell you that.
The Golden Nugget had, until today, had really decent dealers, pit boss. Everybody was kind of cool.
Oh, and
they
it was-
were joking with you yesterday about the apple.
And it was funny because I even asked the guy, I said, did somebody call in sick? You know, did you have to move somebody? And his answer was, no, I wish that was the case. So what is the case?
Yeah.
We never found out. It'll probably boggle my mind for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you know what we do is we'll have to talk to the guys over at Lake Charles, tell them what happened,
Right.
and maybe they can find out. But yeah, that was. I'm glad that we only lost like 18. I only lost $18, and we got the hell out of there fast. Because, well, we talk about table karma, and there was no karma going on whatsoever. I mean, he was laughing at the mistakes he was making, and you don't laugh at mistakes at a craps table.
That's people's money you're messing with,
You're
buddy.
and you're going to mess with a lot of money. So, but yeah, that was probably the most uncomfortable feeling I've had towards a dealer. It's the most uncomfortable feeling towards a dealer I've had in my entire craps playing career. Coming up on our next episode, we conclude our Biloxi and New Orleans trip report, wrapping up our Gulf Coast gambling road trip. The Red Eye Gamblers, thank you for your time and hope you got a little something out of this week's podcast.
Here's to rolling sevens on the come out, and may your sixes and eights always be hard. Cheers.